Okay, hi, this is Mr. Vogt, and we're here with the podcast. This is our first one of the newspaper, and Ken and Celina are going to be debating gun control. They wrote an article, and we've got 4 categories we'll walk them through, and then I'll ask them a question at the end. I won't really do a whole lot other than just to kind of help steer the discussion. So if you would like to begin, the first topic they agreed to discuss was crime.
All right, well, I'll start off right away with a fact. According to that NCVS in 2000, there was 533,470 victims that stated they faced an offender with firearm.
Okay. Well, most of the time that happens, it's in a gun-free zone, and like all the states that put bans on guns had more gun-related crimes. Like in Chicago, 1981 put a ban on handguns. By 2007, there were twice as many murders with handguns.
I think that now it's gotten a little more severe because now I've seen on the news that you can buy guns at Walmart, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure it's easier to get a gun now than it was back then. So.
There's a waiting period on all the guns, and sometimes they don't want to wait for the guns. Like in that Newtown shooting, the person wouldn't even wait the 14-day period and stole the guns.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, you can move on to the murders topic if you want.
Okay.
Okay, so our second topic is going to cover murders.
Well, I think that let's start off that most murders are done with guns because it's an easy kill, and it's easy to get a hold of. There's a lot of connections with how you can get a gun and stuff, and most people die with it because it's a severe injury. So,
actually, the FBI stats show that there are more people that are killed with hammers and clubs than guns.
Well, was that recently or?
That was 2012.
2012. Well, I think they've gotten a little more stricter now because of the amount of shootings, but in the past couple of years, it's been pretty bad with the amount of guns and shootings that have been happening. So.
But if you really want to kill somebody and they somehow did get your gun away from you, you're going to find a different way to do it. There's way more ways to kill somebody than just with a gun.
Yeah, but guns probably, if you ask someone, would you rather kill someone with a hammer or a gun? They would say gun because it's easier. It's just one shot, you're done, and you can leave. Whereas a hammer, you would hammer someone until they die.
But okay, would you rather though? If they did take the guns away though, and that was their only option, they would still find a way to kill somebody.
Well, sure they would, but they would probably second think it. Now that it's going to be as easy.
Now, they could still kill somebody, but then how is somebody going to defend themselves?
Well, that's okay. So I'm just going to say a short story that I've told you already, but now that there's more guns at households that people say they use for protection, well, it can also be turned against you because, well, my mom went to a party and then at some guy's house and she one of his younger brothers got a hold of her gun because his father was a policeman and didn't know how to use it and ended up shooting the guy who was holding the party, and he died because of that one gun that was in the household that not anybody used how to use except for the dad.
Exactly, but the dad didn't know how to use it, and that's why it was there. And I mean, that was just one instance.
But the fact that anyone could get a hold of it is not okay because that's the kind of stuff that could happen daily if we don't have.
but that was just that one guy's irresponsibility because the kid couldn't have got the gun if it wasn't for the dad. It was the dad's fault, not the gun laws.
But there's a lot of dads that could either be like that or worse, is what I'm saying. Not everyone's perfect. Not everyone is smart enough to know to keep the gun out of a child's reach. Because I'm sure that's not the only case.
Okay, we can move on to our third topic, which is going to be protection.
Okay. I have written down, guns that are used for protection usually will get turned against you, especially if you have no training with them, which most people who hold guns in their households don't.
Wait, what was?
I'm saying, they're most likely at least one of the members in the household will know how to use a gun. That's why they have it. But not what I'm saying is like not everyone will know how to use it. Like in the story, like I just said, no one else in that family knew how to use it, and it was turned against them, and it wasn't purposely. Because like when you kill someone, sometimes it's not on purpose, but
that's just their responsibility again. If they wanted everybody to know how to use the gun, they could. But if that one person knows how to use the gun, then that's one person that can be protecting everybody.
Well, yeah, but still, I think that if they're gonna allow guns in households, that I think that everyone who lives in the house should be old enough to know to stay away from it if they don't know how to use it or don't want to know how to use it. But those who I don't know, have like a problem with
so then
resisting,
everybody with kids can't have a gun.
Well, if it's kept responsibly out of reach, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's their job, to be responsible.
And I think it should be tougher to get a hold of a gun than it is now. Because, like, buying a gun at Walmart, that's kind of ridiculous.
But they still go through the same background checks just because they carry them now.
Well, yeah, but think of how many murders. Now, obviously, those murders that caused the shootings have not got a good background check. I think they should do a better job with that.
Actually, most of them had illegally acquired guns. That Newtown shooting, that wasn't that guy's guns. That was his mom's. That Colorado shooting, he had 2 illegal guns with him on.
Okay. But
And that was in a gun-free zone.
So just in the interest of time, our announcements are going to be coming here soon. So if you guys don't mind, we can skip to the final question.
Yeah. Sure.
So both Ken and Celina did agree. They don't know what question it is, but I'm going to give them a question that's very common on each side of critics of their position. So who'd like to go first?
You can do me first.
Okay. So Celina, I think the biggest critics of the position you take would be anytime there's an emergency, the first thing people always do if there's an intruder is call someone trained who can operate a firearm. So that must be good. So why would you want to restrict people who are trained to operate firearms if that's the first person we always call in an emergency?
I don't think that they should take guns out of the hands of civilians completely. I think what I'm trying to get is I think it should be stricter. Like, people who have guns need to be certified in order to get them, because obviously a lot of people are getting a hold of them easier than it should be right now, and that's what causes most deaths and crimes.
Okay, and then Ken, a lot of critics of your position would argue that many Americans would support guns, but what on earth does a regular American need an automatic or semi-automatic weapon that can fire 30, 40, 50 rounds a minute? I think most Americans would agree that we have a right to it, but what on earth does an American need something like that for?
Well, a lot of the shootings actually aren't with full automatic or semi-automatic, and you can drop magazines and reload just as fast as with one of those guns. So taking away the full automatics and semi-automatics isn't going to change much. And then once they take those away, where's it going to go after that? Like, they're just going to want to keep taking away the guns.
Okay. Thank you, Ken and Celina. Did a great job. Please vote. They're going to have a link on their story that you can vote on both of the stories on who you agree with, on which position. And hopefully you keep reading, and I hope you enjoyed our first podcast.